All right. Hi, everybody. And this is the February 6th meeting of the Scio Township Environmental Sustainability Task Force. Welcome, our first meeting for 2025. And I can see on the agenda, I didn't even change the year. Corrected.
Oh, well.
Got by me.
Yeah.
The link works, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does anyone want to add anything or to our agenda? No? Okay, so we'll kind of move ahead. I think Michelle is here. I know Molly she wasn't sure if she was going to be traveling for work today and wasn't sure if she was going to get back in time, but I know she connected with Janine, right? I think. Yeah. So, Michelle, do you want to say hi and introduce yourself, and we can kind of do a round robin here?
Well, I'm happy to join you all, and I am new to Zooming as far as a participant other than a listener. So I'll enjoy listening and learning.
Yeah, welcome. And I think, Michelle, you had mentioned you're interested in like land preservation, natural ecosystems, just that type of kind of that sector of
Yes.
of sustainability. So that's great.
We're very fortunate. We live on Stein Road, which is on the perimeter near the farm of the Zeeb farm and other protected farmlands. So fortunately, we're in the land preservation greenbelt. So of course, we're very much wanting to continue preservation and very much enjoying it.
Michelle, is this Michelle Cody?
It is.
Hi, former neighbor Janine LaPrade, David Dickinson.
I recognize your name, and I was trying to place it in my memory bank.
I love it.
For not knowing. Yes, we were neighbors.
We were. It's nice to reconnect with you in this setting.
Look forward to more reconnecting. That sounds great.
Totally.
Oh, great. So anyway, Charlie, you want to go ahead? We'll just kind of briefly introduce ourselves. So.
Yeah, Charlie Nielsen, it says it right on the screen. I'm actually a township supervisor from longer ago than I'd like to admit. And I've been involved in the township one way or another really ever since then. I was a recycling manager for a drop-off station that we did a monthly thing for many years until COVID unfortunately ended that program. And then a few years later, I got contacted by Jan, who thought I'd be a good fit for this group, and I've been very happily working with them ever since.
Great. Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob Hyde. I'm part of the Planning Commission. I've been in the township since, 2007, and I'm interested in preserving our township the way we all know and love it.
Kathy.
Okay, I'm Kathy Juskevich. I had no previous connection with the township before, other than living here for 25 years or so. Retired elementary school teacher, science teacher, and I've kind of focusing on transportation systems and mobility as part of sustainability. I'm very passionate about sustainability. I have children, and I think we all kind of feel that way.
Yeah. Tim.
You say Tim?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Michelle. I've spent my life in the food industry, the organic food industry in particular, and here in the county, I've been part of the Environmental Council for a long time, and also I am part, along with Janine LaPrade, of the Land Preservation Commission here in the township. So my particular place in the woods is related to food and farming and agriculture. And that's what I do.
Janine.
Yeah, hi. It's good to be back. I was on a little bit of a hiatus, in part given my Land Preservation Commission responsibilities, but just other competing commitments, but it's good to be back. And I've been in the township since 2006 when I was a neighbor on Stein Road with Michelle, and then we now live next to the Fox Science Preserve on Peters Road. My husband and I and our Bernese mountain dog. And I love the work that this task force has been doing, and I helped with the natural ecosystem piece of it. And tonight I'm going to be sharing a little bit about digging in that Molly and I have started to do around health and health equity related issues.
Great. Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff. You can't see me, but I am here. Longtime Scio resident, sustainability nut. So naturally, I had to join this task force when it was formed. Another of my many passions is long distance running. So naturally, I own a company that provides zero waste services to running events.
Great. And then we have some unofficial members. Rob and Pam, do you want to just say hi, or do you know Michelle? I don't know if you do or not. You're on mute.
I'm muted now. Pam Boyd. I do Scio Community Newsletter, and I come to all these meetings, and I'm actually on the agenda today because 99.9% I'm just a resident coming, but depending on how quickly we can get the resilience thing going, I will be kind of more than just a visitor. So welcome, Michelle. Glad to meet you.
And Rob,
Hi,
our
Michelle.
signage person.
Hi, Michelle. I'm Rob Pattinson. I occasionally get signs for the Scio Sustainability Fair. Do not let Jan or Tim tell you that I am an official member. I am not. I am simply a Scio rascal who got lassoed into the sustainability.
That's
So
what
you can tell we have
true member, Rob.
Yeah. And Michelle and I had a nice chat. So I'm really glad to have some new members. Yay. It's awesome. I also wanted to say we were paid a very high compliment. I was talking with Beth Gibbons, who is she is the resilience director for Washtenaw County. And she said, in talking with some of the other townships who were interested in putting together a climate action plan, she actually said, the one I think you should look at is Scio's. So, woohoo. And I gave Royal Oak credit since they're the ones that gave us that template. So I thought that was really, hey, kudos to everyone. Thank you. So, yeah, it's nice when, some of the work that everybody's been contributing to is noticed. Okay, public comment. Any comment from our regular public attendees?
Rob, are you a member of the public?
I think he claims being a member of the public.
I'll reply.
That's the only committee I'm on.
All right, so then we'll just go into some of our focus group updates. Energy. I've gotten 3 RSVPs so far for the solar event it was published in the newsletter. And what I want, it'll go, so I'm going to send it out to, we have a list of some of the HOA folks, and I was going to, send it out to them and also see if we couldn't get it in the Sun Times. as an announcement. So I did send it to everybody. So if you have like an email group or a neighborhood group that you can email that to, please do that. Did everyone get a copy? I emailed it after the agenda went out.
Mhm.
Okay, and so it's going to be, I think it should be kind of fun. It is at Homeland, and we're going to do a hybrid. So if some people don't, or if we have bad weather, people can still join and get the basic content. And the idea is to do maybe a group buy, Homeland has great pricing to begin with, but they did say they have what is it called? A family and friends kind of program. And I know Kathy's interested in it.
Yep.
Larry Kerber's going to look and see if there's any hope at my house, which I sort of doubt. Yeah. And there are, I think, 3 other people that are planning on coming. So this is what I'm telling people is this is a good year if you're thinking about doing solar, because hopefully they can't muck with the IRS code this year because it's already started. But we don't know what's going to happen, after this. So if you're thinking about doing it in the next couple of years, this year would be a good one. So end of
Jan?
advertisement. Yes.
Jan, I'll just throw this out. I participated in the latest Solarized group buy. The solar panels are on my house now, and tomorrow they're supposed to come out and finish hooking it up. Now it's going to be, well, DTE takes it from here, and they got to come out and do a final inspection, and then they rewire the meter so it can run backwards.
Mm-hmm.
But I would expect by March or so, I will be kicking out my free electrons, and I'll be happy to share data with you when I get it.
Oh,
So
great.
I would agree this is a great time to do solar because who knows how long the federal credits are gonna be out there.
Mhm.
Jeff,
Yeah,
did you get
great.
battery backup too, or just going right onto the grid?
So battery backup was an option, and now Michigan Quality Electric is doing the installation for this latest group buy, and they were quoting me Tesla Powerwalls, so about $1,000 a kilowatt hour. And we're talking 8 to 9 kilowatt hours in one of these batteries, and I use 40 kilowatt hours. So I'm not really gaining a whole lot with the battery. Now, unfortunately, if the power goes out, the solar has to dump because there's nowhere for it to go. Like if you lose the
Right.
connection with the grid.
Right.
But that is happening, knock on my laptop, less often. And I have a generator, so I'm not too worried about it. I have been trying to think about getting a larger portable power station for my business, and then I could charge that off my panels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Doing a
Yeah. So yeah,
portable.
definite options there.
Interesting.
Jeff, do you have a switch where you can run directly off your panels?
No, it feeds directly into
Okay.
my into
Into
what do
the
you call it,
grid.
panel.
So
There's a special thing that it fits right into the panel and it gets distributed from there.
okay, so you might want to make arrangements to come over to my house and look at what my husband has installed so that we can run directly off of the solar panels. So we disconnect from the grid
Mm.
and we run from the solar panels. We also have battery backup, but they're regular car batteries, and
Yeah.
it's pretty inefficient for the most part. I mean, um, it'll get us a little ways, but there's a lot of maintenance involved. And
I'll ask him tomorrow because we're both
oh
on
yeah, right,
compensation commission. So
perfect.
I'll ask him about that tomorrow. Thank you, Pam.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, hey Pam, this is Tim, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you are tied up with DTE like Jeff is and I am too.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So you are. So you're on a grid tie system?
Yes.
but you've got a way to get off of.
Yes, you have to completely disconnect from the grid for safety, of course. But it's the same way that if you were to hook up your generator, you need to disconnect from the grid, so that there is no, I don't know, I'm not the engineer of the family. You have to ask my husband. But so yeah. We'll let Jeff talk to John, and then Jeff can come and tell you all about it at the next meeting.
Yeah, good. I'm
Well,
interested, Jeff. if you
yeah.
do that.
Oh, sorry, Tim. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, I just want to tell Jeff, if you do wind out learning what how to do it. And anyway, I'm interested in what you learn, Jeff, if you do get into it.
I'll definitely ask around.
Yeah,
And
so
come-
these are,
Yeah.
oh, well,
No, go
so
ahead. Come on
we-
the
yeah,
23rd.
so we have, well, right. So my husband and I worked with Homeland Solar. We have solar panels. They're not performing quite at the level we'd like them to be performing. And we have questions about backup and being on and off the grid. So are these the kinds of questions that could potentially be answered at the Homeland Solar session?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
Yep.
You can pick me up, Janine.
Jan,
Yes.
do people that come to this, can they be from Ann Arbor or from other townships as well? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though it's, Scio hosting, we're not, it can be anywhere. Mhm.
Okay.
It could
Yeah.
lead to business for them, so I'm sure they're happy to
Right.
go past the township.
Yeah, because they've gotten some stop work orders on a couple of their IIJA projects because of the federal funding until things get squared away. So yeah, so I'm sure they'll be very interested in, even if it's little stuff. So all right, let's do then. Yeah, that's basically the energy piece.
Jen,
Yeah.
Jen, I'm sorry to interrupt, but do
Mhm.
you know if who's the woman you mentioned right at the beginning who lauded Scio Township's plan sustainability?
Beth Gibbons.
Yeah, do you know if she knows about this and would it be
You know what?
appropriate?
I will send her that. I can email her that information. I will do that so she can send it.
I wonder how many seats they will have at Homeland.
They have a pretty big kind of
Mhm.
area that,
Yeah.
yeah, because when they just moved in and they did their open house, they can accommodate, I don't know, probably 75 people, something like that. It's standing, it's not really sitting, but they'll have some chairs there. Mhm.
Yeah, so
I'm just trying to figure out how much hot chocolate to make. I'm going to make homemade hot cocoa.
I might, I mean, if you send it, copy
Mhm.
Andrew on it.
Copy who? Andrew?
Andrew, yeah.
Okay.
Andrew, come on, Megan.
Yeah, Delu. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I think I'll also, email our township committees and commissions too. Just as a reminder. Hopefully they read the newsletter, right? Okay. The other thing that was on the agenda, but I think we're going to be doing on March 25th, it'll be a virtual session at noon. A guy from MSU is going to do, he calls it ecovoltaics. It's how to, it's talking about the research that they've been doing around agrovoltaics, and also, other types of co-uses of land that is solar. So the land isn't just generating the electricity, it's also being productive. And I think that should be a pretty interesting session. So when we get the link and all of that set up, I'll send that out, but we'll be meeting in March before that anyway. Because I really want to promote, even though we didn't get community solar passed, that there are ways of making solar. You don't have to, have, it, it can be a multi-use site, along with just the solar. So anyway, natural ecosystems. This was a really interesting event. They had evidently there's a local group of, they call themselves stewards, and they're the folks that are in charge of a lot of community outreach and so forth around all of the park systems in our area. So here in Metro Parks, Washtenaw County Parks, City of Ann Arbor, and so forth. And Anna and Jackie Coteau put together, it was sort of a hike and a session for those stewards at the Woodview Commons clubhouse. And the developer was there as well. And I don't know if any of you guys know the story of that, but so Woodview Commons has, I think, just over 400 units. They're all rental units. They're coming online now. They were all the way through the PUD process when Anna was hired as a kind of an intern, kind of a summer intern with a guy named James, and they were assigned to do sort of an inventory of what was valuable in all of the parks and preserves that Scio had. And I think it was the week after the PUD was approved. It's a 2-year process. They said, oh my gosh, we found a heron rookery. And I don't know if any of you have seen the sign when you come off Baker to Jackson Road. It says Scio Township, and it has 2 herons on either side of the sign. We kind of had an indication from the developer all along that they wanted to do more housing. And at that time, the Planning Commission and the trustees were kind of into this mixed use stuff. So there was a storage facility and an apartment building in with all the housing. And so there was a discussion with the developer, and there were 12 buildings that were inside this 300-foot buffer. And so there was, sort of back and forth, but they realized that they could get more revenue if they had more housing. And we wanted the, buffer for the herons. So there were no guarantees. The guys still had to go through all the way through an amended PUD process again, but he did. So the success story is Anna and James counted 57 occupied nests. This year, Hob and I'm trying to think of, was it Hob and Anna? I'm trying to think of who went. They counted the nests and there were 122. Now they couldn't tell, how many were occupied, but there were 122 nests. And that now they finished the construction. So I think it's a really cool kind of success story, of course. And they were all the stewards were really interested in, because that's a very large rookery. Yeah, it's really cool. So anyway, so kudos to the land, the millage and the land preservation group and so forth. And I think that's a real illustration of, people working together. So
yeah, it did take a little urging on the part of the Land Preservation Commission to, encourage them to make that buffer and leave nests alone and
And now what's going to be important is, and that's what all the stewards were talking to. And it was good that the developer was there, because it's it's the type of developer that they own and manage. They don't flip it. They don't sell it. So they have a stake in you know, how successful it is. And so a lot of the stewards had quite a few ideas about, you know, how you engage the community, because, you know, if somebody starts shooting off fireworks over there, or, you know, there could be a lot of things that disturb. Thank goodness it's in a very soggy, wetland. And that helps protect it. But still, you know, trying to think about how to engage. And Murphy, unfortunately, Murphy's mother had died, so she couldn't attend. She had planned to, but she's kind of excited too about trying to figure out, this is an excellent way of engaging a rental population in you know, natural ecosystem protection. So it should be interesting. Yeah.
What's the name of that development again, Jan? I'm making a note on it.
What is it? The
Woodview Commons.
Yeah, Woodview Commons.
Yeah, Woodsview Common. Right.
Commons,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. And yeah, it was really nice. And I have to say, that's what's so amazing about Scio. I mean, each of you have pretty amazing careers and backgrounds, um and if it hadn't been for, you know, both Hob and Jackie really knowing who to go to, how to do it, because it had to happen very fast, you know, to you reach, because the developer could have just said, you know what, I've got, you know, you can't stop me from starting construction. I'm done, you know, with my approvals. And so, you know, saying stop, wait, we need, you know, to wait 6 months for a study and etc. So it was really nice to have experts that also had a network that could get pretty specific information about why it was important and so forth. So very cool. So I appreciate all of you very much. Okay. Water. Bob, did you have anything that you wanted to talk about from the?
Yes, I did. I wanted to share that wetlands map that was part of the Southeast Michigan, let's see, was it Council of Governments? I think it was
SEMCOG?
So can you make me a presenter?
I should be able to. Hang on.
And then I can show that map. And hang on. Let me know when you succeed.
Go ahead.
Well, I need to look for what?
There should be a share just down at the bottom, I think.
Well, let's see. More.
If you move your
maybe,
cursor down there.
Yeah.
In the past, when somebody's made a panelist so they can share screen, you get a message pops up and you click on it and you actually have to exit and
There won't
rejoin.
be a message. Yeah, this is just a meeting. It's not a webinar. So you should be able to just go down and find the share button.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I've selected the right one. And there we go. It was covering up my band. Okay, so can you see?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So somewhere here, there we go. So this is a map of all the way in Michigan. I've zoomed in on.
Bob, if you can hear us, you might want to stop sharing your, not stop sharing, turn off your camera, because you don't have enough bandwidth to do both the camera and the sharing screen, and we're losing your audio. If you can hear us, oh, he's frozen on my screen.
If I can, well, I need to stop sharing in order to do that.
No,
so I'll turn off my video.
I apologize.
I was going to say that you were already clear.
Well, okay, but now I'm turned off. So Woodview Commons is right here, I believe, no, right here. Is this their unit that they have built? And there's their, this is Jackson Boulevard and there's their
I
boulevard
can't
coming
see the
in.
map.
Yeah,
Can
we
other
don't
people see the map?
No, we
No,
don't see the map at this
Oh,
point.
boy.
It
Then
looks like it's
maybe
taking a few seconds to load up.
Okay.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
There we
Yep.
go. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's, can you see my cursor? This is Woodview Commons.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the wetlands that Jan was talking about. And here's Dino Drive, and back here is the entrance to the preserve. So all this wetlands is where the rookery exists, just so you can see that. But now I'm going to change everybody's video, or my video, and you can see all the wetlands are delineated here, and I'm going to make it even clearer by getting rid of the imagery. So this is Scio's wetlands. This is Honey Creek here. These are all wetlands that go along Dexter, Ann Arbor Road. Some are ponds, some are wetlands, and they're all a stream, and it goes down here, crosses Zeeb Road, and becomes part of, I guess it's Pam's backyard. And I hate to zoom in on these things because it'll just it'll bog down. But this is a map, Jan, that they've taken and shown all of the wetlands in our area. I thought I would compare it to what we have already detailed in any of our maps, see if there's any changes. Maybe we want to put a link to this I was thinking maybe we want to update, as part of the update to the master plan, we could put a new map in that's more up to date, perhaps. So just an introduction to the SEMCOG's map here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Would you go back to that first map you had up? Which is a little closer in.
Okay, you mean where I had the,
Where you were showing Woodview Commons.
where would you like? If I can,
Yeah,
there it is. Here's their boulevard coming in off of Jackson Boulevard. You can see the construction was still going on when this picture was taken. But they have wetlands. They had two wetlands that they built around, as Jan knows. So they're right here and here, and they made sure that they didn't intrude more than they had to. But they actually have a road that went across this one, I think. I can't remember how it worked out now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right. So I just wanted to point out, Bob, that directly south and east in that corner of that plot, in the corner of the plot, if you can go down southeast a little bit.
I did. Corner of what plot?
Well, South Township owns two pieces of property down there.
Yes. On Liberty?
Southeast corner, yeah.
On
Now you
Liberty.
see part of them. What is the very southeast corner there is South Township property.
Mhm.
I'm looking in, and if you go a
Thi-
little further
this is-
east on there, so I'm just telling everybody on our group right now that the township owns two pieces of property there, and we all took a look at the rookery. That was part of getting those guys to respect where the rookery is and get some action on that. But we also, the township owns two pieces of property. You're not quite getting it, Bob. If you can go right to the southeast corner along.
You got to tell me the southeast corner of what, Tim?
Of
the township?
Yeah, what is that?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get to
not
this
the
map,
township,
which should,
no. The,
I know. It's
so
on
the
Liberty,
road,
right
that
here.
the road to the, let's see. And by the way, there's a lot of protected pieces of ground directly west of where the rookery is. And
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, and
So-
I think the other piece is the developer has completed a very nice 12-foot wide multi-use pathway that begins at that sign at Baker, where Baker comes into Jackson Road. And now there's a section of trail that the township has to complete that includes a bridge over Honey Creek. So, and that trail will connect up then also into the Charlie, your neighborhood,
Scio Farms.
Scio Farms.
Yeah, right here.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
can you
so
see,
you'll be
Tim?
able to go from Jackson Road. Yeah, from Jackson Road and Baker, between where EWF is and Woodview Commons, there's a walkway, and then it skirts the edge of it skirts the wetland area, and then I guess somewhere it has to cross Honey Creek, and then it's supposed to connect into Scio Farms too. So it gives a lot of people access to the preserves
right. And
without
go ahead.
disturbing. It's all 300 feet away from the rookery. So,
Yeah,
people using the pathways don't
And I
disturb
wondered
it.
right where Bob's cursor was a minute ago in Scio
Uh-huh.
Farms, at
Right.
the end of the main street there,
Mm-hmm.
there is that little park that's back there now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some trails there. I've wondered if eventually that could be connected over all the way to Dino Drive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and put your cursor on Dino Drive. It's to the west,
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah,
And right
Dino,
there is the
there
entrance
is
to
a
the,
path. There is a
Right.
path off of Dino Drive going.
right
Mhm.
here, right here.
The big idea is to connect that to properties that are protected now or
All in here.
and, to be able to extend that pathway.
Yeah,
And
because we just had the cursor. Scio owns that property there, as I understand, the township.
Yep.
Mhm.
yeah, so where that half wheel is of that development, right where you are there, yeah, there's two pieces of property
Right.
just on the south border there that we have talked about in the Land Preservation Commission, possibly doing a buy, protect, sell thing with those pieces of properties so that a farmer can get hold of them. But we haven't done anything about that, and
Mhm.
there's a roadblock or two. But anyway, the township owns those, and they are a buffer for that rookery.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. Great. Tim, what's going on in the egg world?
Yeah, well, it's wintertime. There's people are actually able to get some crops into the Argus stores, spinach and like that, some of the small farms in the county. Um, the actions, by the government recently, by the new administration, are going to potentially harm new farms' ability to get going. And so I'm concerned about that. And also existing farms and their ability to get grants from the Conservation Service and various other agencies that want to support small farming around the country. And So anyway, the jury's out on what's happening. There's been a lot of bluster and talk. So I don't know where it's going to go, but the holdup in funds is confusing, and we just don't know what's going to happen. I think that is a key issue for farmers in the county and the few farms in our township. Um,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, because Anna had with the Washtenaw Conservation District, she had a job with she was doing outreach and so forth for the Smart Farm initiative. I'm trying to remember the exact name, but her position, she got like, yeah, the funding
yeah,
evaporated.
and the state, there are several state groups that are, MIFS is one, MIFFS, and they're largely supported by grants from the government and various other institutions, and they're in trouble. Their job is to support small farming and rural development with agriculture in the state, and
Mhm.
so um, yeah, perhaps I can make a more clear report on that in the future, but we're just kind of waiting to see how much weight what has been said is actually going to carry, and
Mhm.
whether the
Yeah,
courts are going to stop some of that action.
yeah,
So we'll see.
okay. All right. Yeah, Kathy, did you want to talk about the letter
Yeah,
that you drafted?
yeah. Did everybody get a chance to read through that draft letter? The
Yes.
issue, the
Yeah.
issue, yeah, the issue is that we passed a capital improvement plan with
Oh, yeah.
generic plans in there, generic budget for 2 trucks for utilities. And I listened to the meeting, I listened to the recording of it, and no mention whatsoever about electrifying, about trying an electric truck, just completely, when asked about expenses and things, talking about fuel and all that. So I was very concerned that, given that our plan that we put together says that we need to be, as you can see, what was it, 2030, we wanted to be electrify entirely our own fleet. And if we're buying a truck this year and then another one 2 years down the road, we're not going to be needing to replace gasoline trucks that quickly. So I feel really strongly. I understand there's some reasons you might not choose that vehicle, but I feel very strongly that we need to ask that they seriously investigate getting EVs for these 2 trucks. I've been trying to read some articles about them. It seems to me, I know our previous utilities director felt that it would be fine to have the electric vehicle. He was excited about it. So I just thought it would be a good idea to let the Board of Trustees know they should be thinking about these things and give it serious consideration at the very least.
Yeah.
So I also thought it would be more effective coming from our whole committee rather than just from me, and wanted permission to do that.
Are
And
those
Yeah, Kathy,
pickup
what are the
trucks?
2 vehicles again, please?
Yeah.
they ask for 2 pickups for the utilities department. I'm not even
Okay.
thinking about the bigger, huge vehicles. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about the
Mhm,
pickups.
mhm.
One was to be bought, I think, this year, and the other one was 2 years later to replace existing F-150s or something of that sort.
Okay.
Right,
I-
okay, yeah.
I fully support your idea, Kathy. I'm glad you took time to listen to that and noted. Ford is having a hard time selling their EV pickup trucks. And so they're dealing on them now, and it'd be a good time to go grab a couple of those perhaps.
Exactly. And I just saw an article recently saying that the reason they're having difficulty is because the main market for them is people that want to take them on big family camping vacations, and they have range anxiety. We don't have that issue. So, you know, with the last time this was brought up, they said probably 45 miles a day would be maximum that they would do on a trek like this. And they
Yeah,
can
it's
certainly do
perfect.
that and charge it overnight.
Perfect. They wouldn't have to go to the gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, you have your hand up. Did you want to say something?
Yes, please. At the, I don't think it was the last board meeting. I think it was the board meeting before. Andrea Garrett, put a proposal forward for a shared vehicle for staff. The assessing group, goes out every day during the week, to different properties, doing assessments and such. And, there was some coolness to the proposal. But at the end of the meeting, I suggested that there may be programs for municipalities to get EV vehicles and EV charging stations, and there might be grants and such. And that might be another good candidate for an electric vehicle is the shared assessing and or office vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be appropriate in this letter that I've written to just say something like, and any other light duty vehicles that the township has as a future purchase?
I think so.
Sort of add a sentence or a half sentence in there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. will
Yeah, I
do
think
that.
the other sentence would be to develop a a plan for the fleets too, for it, I know Chief Hood was looking at that, and he's keeping track of the electric,
Yes.
the
Fire trucks.
fire trucks and things like that, but we really do need to look at, and I think DTE still has their consulting that we could maybe tap into, it, to look at a fleet plan and what that
transition
would
to
look
electric,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
A fleet, to develop a fleet transition plan. And there are going to
Okay.
be some vehicles that are going to be, we may not be able to do everything, but at least make sure that we do target at least the light duty ones.
Should I include that in this letter as well? Okay, so I'll do that and send out a copy after the meeting, after I've done that. So if anyone is horrified by what I write, let me know. Then the other question would be, which is more effective? If I go to the meeting and speak this, or just send it?
You do both.
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay. So send it in advance to the,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it probably doesn't hurt if there's others from this task force that are planning to be at that meeting too, just to
Mhm.
have a few more voices of support. I don't know,
Right.
when is that meeting?
I was just gonna do it at some upcoming general meeting because they've already approved.
Right,
They haven't done anything wrong yet, but I mean,
yeah,
the idea was that they approved that they were gonna go ahead and buy these 2 trucks. And I'm just saying, make sure when you do that you try to see that an EV would work for this.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so I will plan to do both and I will let you know when I'm planning to do it. And if anyone else cares to show up or show up on Zoom or whatever and
great.
Mhm.
say
Thanks,
a word.
Kathy.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a
Thank
great
you.
letter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just a little update on the Complete Streets grant from SEMCOG.
Mhm.
The team did kind of a on-site kind of walk, walking and looking at the intersections of Jackson Road, which reminds me I need to get a photo. And it couldn't have been better, but it was awful. We're turning into Parkland Plaza, and there was a woman in the turn lane with her walker because the sidewalk wasn't shoveled. Yeah,
That's
and
horrible.
I know, it's awful. It's awful. And Parkland Plaza had theirs shoveled up to a certain point. So I have to dig into who's responsible for, because it was the median section of the sidewalk, and then the sidewalk, it was a short, maybe 20-foot section, where probably some private property stops, and there's an easement or something for Jackson Road. And that side portion of the sidewalk wasn't either. She had ever, she had gotten off the bus, come down the sidewalk and was crossing Jackson Road. Anyway, they did the stuff on the ground. They are developing a website that'll be embedded in Scio will host it. And they've developed, maps and so forth, and it'll be a way of communicating the content, but also getting stakeholder, community engagement kind of things. And there'll be something in the next newsletter that'll go out on it. And the stakeholder group, which includes, the road commission, DDA, a person from Myers, and City of Ann Arbor, City of Dexter, just a whole group of people who kind of have some key elements along Jackson Road are going to get together by Zoom close to the end of February. So the idea is these folks either have some sort of control, or they have property or something like that in Jackson Road, and then connectivity with Ann Arbor and so forth, and includes AAATA and the Wave. So after that meeting, then they'll come up with kind of an analysis, if you will, of what the issues are and what some of the potential is for the corridor to be more balanced, more connected and more balanced between pedestrian, bike, truck, and car. And then at the same time, the Planning Commission was discussing the committee that was looking at zoning and the overlay district along Jackson Road. The planner just recommended that we really look at a rezoning and do more of a possibly form-based, but we have like an industrial use, an office use, a commercial use, and it's all kind of jumbled along Jackson Road. So somebody has to get a conditional use to put a little bit of retail in if it's not zoned, commercial and that type of thing. So to kind of simplify the zoning along Jackson Road. So all of this will feed into, and I hope will create a framework of, because with the road commission trying to invest in, redoing some of the sections of Jackson Road and so forth, it's a good time to have, so we don't continue to get what we have, that it becomes a little more multimodal in its format. So anyway, so that'll be coming. It'll take through the end of June probably for the study to finish up. So materials waste and circular economy.
Can I do one
Yeah.
more thing first?
Yes.
Working on my goal to try and get the ridership up on buses. I just wanted to report that we are apparently Wave has like doubled their ridership in the past year. They've been going gangbusters, and it's about half and half door-to-door service and mostly the Jackson line that they have, through, what is it called? The one where
the connectors.
The connector, yeah, the Jackson Road connector. And we have been, it's been great because we're kind of touching bases and sharing information. And for example, they had not been aware that that Woodview Commons was kind of up and running and people were in it. So they're now looking into making a stop there of the Jackson connector, which was not happening before this.
Mhm.
And we, Shasta and I at WAVE are looking into trying to get into some of these group areas, maybe Woodview Commons, maybe the co-housing, maybe Scio Farms, places like this, to let people know what's available and to kind of have a feedback session to try and get what people, why should you ride the bus? What's good about it? What would we need to do to make it better for you so that you could do it? But we need to get somebody from AAATA first that'll guide us in what kind of feedback they want back from people. We can't just offer the moon and then go in and expect AAATA to do that. So we're trying to put something like that together where we can go in and get some feedback and get people interested in riding the bus more. So,
Neat. Thank you for that, Kathy.
yeah.
All right. Charlie and Jeff.
Well, starting out, I was hoping we'd have an update on composting, but the update is we don't have an update. What had happened is Jan had given me some things that she thought the Planning Commission would want to see in a proposal from Michigan Consulting and Environment. So I composed an email to Jenna McDonald, as you might remember, was the woman that we were working with from there, and said that, we got the survey back. There was enough interest that we definitely wanted to proceed with the program. We were ready for a proposal, gave her those parameters, what we were looking for. That email I had sent to her on December 20th. Now, Jenna really typically did not respond to emails real promptly. And considering it was just before the holiday season, I didn't necessarily expect a real quick answer back. But then come along a couple weeks ago, Jan kind of reminded me that, did we ever get anything back from there? Wow, that has been a while. So back, what was it, maybe last Friday, Jan?
Mhm.
Something like that, about a week ago, I sent another email to Jenna and I got back an automatic reply. I'm looking at it here, that she is out of the office from January 27th to January 31st. And, in that I said I had sent this earlier, Mayor, we were eager to get to work on this and, we at least let us know something, and we haven't heard anything at all. So I'm rather perplexed. I don't understand.
I think it's time to call her, Charlie.
That's what I'm thinking, because I believe one of these emails, she does have a phone number. So that's exactly what I was thinking, Jeff. Earlier days, it's time for a phone
Yeah.
call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did find out from Meyer that Denali does serve Meyer. They do composting through Denali, which is the one that Ann Arbor uses. So they have their trucks coming out here. So I don't know if it's worthwhile, I don't think they do the same thing that I don't think they have a program like
If it's Denali,
yeah.
Jan,
Yeah,
they will only take the CMAW
yeah,
and the food waste. So they won't
right.
take the compostable containers, whereas My Green Michigan will.
Well, which I really like.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm
It's-
glad
it-
you mentioned that, Jeff. I think it was last week, maybe. I was driving down Jackson Road and saw an MI Green truck that had something on there. It said composting, and it looked like maybe it was headed for co-housing.
Oh,
Wasn't that interesting? So,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's good that you saw one of their trucks.
yeah. I mean, maybe if Michigan Solar doesn't work out, that could be an
Mhm,
option, or
mhm.
if the planning commission or the board wanted another proposal, another quote.
Oh, but that would be My Green Michigan. I mean, basically, My Green Michigan is doing it. We're just layering
Well, that's true too. You're right.
Yeah, the outreach and buckets and that type of thing.
The other data point I'll throw out, I don't remember if I mentioned this, but last year I took a tour of Spurt Industries out in Wixom, and
Mm.
that is where My Green Michigan takes their collected organics, and they want more food waste.
Mm.
They are currently getting the yard waste, food waste mixture. There's a sweet spot, and they're not there yet. So they get too much yard waste and not enough food waste. So it takes longer for their piles to break down the consistency and nutrition levels they want. So they want all the food waste they can get right now.
Well, good.
So
Well,
yeah, let's get going through these guys.
yeah, and we should, I think, the 20, I don't know, that I think the is it the 24th? I think is the next planning commission meeting. We're not going to have a meeting on the 10th. So, yeah, if there's any way you guys can get something together for that, that would be good. The other thing I want to do is circle around and make sure when I was talking through the planning commission budget, I wanted to make sure we had funding for here. So it would be good to have the proposal to know, when they're going through the budget, kind of what this is going to cost. Then I think the other question I had was if we wanted to pursue, I mean, I don't want to put too much on you guys, but if we wanted to still do that electronics thing, because I saw the way that I think was Ann Arbor, I don't know who did the last one, but they virtually had a sign up. And, our concern was how many people, we don't know what they're going to bring and all that stuff. Well, you can kind of control it by if you had, an electronic sign up and you control how many people come at a certain hour and so forth. Now, not everybody follows that, but, it would be a way of taking some of the guesswork out of an electronics recycling kind of thing.
That's a good
And
point, Jan, because that was one of the things with shoe pan, as I recall. It would be very hard to get a cost from them because it did depend on how many people came. So yeah, if we had some number to give them,
yeah, or if they
Well-
could tell us like it's, one,
yeah,
whatever what trailer or whatever they're gonna take, first come, first serve, sign up, and once the spaces are gone, they're gone.
We also
So
have
oh,
I don't know if you're all aware of the computer place that's on Jackson Road that does also do electronics recycling. I don't know how much we promote them, but they're great. Are folks aware of?
I didn't know about them, but I knew about Target, not Target,
Best Buy, right?
well, Best Buy does. It's the one that's in the shopping plaza in Ann Arbor on the west side. It escapes me right now, but there's more than one that takes electronics.
What's the name of that place, Janine?
Of course, I knew you were going to ask me. I'll send the link around after this call.
I think it's called Computer Alley.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you. That's it,
that's
Rob.
it. That's it, Rob.
I didn't
But could they
realize they were
take the kind of
recycling stuff
volume?
there.
Right, you're right, Charles. I don't know like how, but like they've told us to, we went in there and dropped off a bunch of computer related stuff and just cords and they said, yeah, come back, around the back, there's a place you can put your toaster oven and I mean just yeah. So
interesting.
Oh, we should if you guys can look at that, and we should put kind of an update on our website so that people can know where and what they take. That'd be great.
and they're also really plugged into like who the folks that are then they're sending that material to. So there's their like network or supply chain on that.
Yeah, they know where it's going.
Correct.
And not overseas.
All right,
Hopefully.
Charlie, I'll make a note to myself. Pop over to Computer Alley, see what they got. You can probably do the same. And then,
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I could stop in because I've known the
Yeah.
owner there, Robert Bryan, ever since he started the place.
well, if you do that, then I'll take care of calling Jenna.
Okay, all right, it's a deal.
All right. Divide and conquer here. All right. All right. Anything else? You guys have been doing some heavy lifting there. Okay. Agenda up. Pam.
Hi. So I've sent you all the FEMA website for CERT training. And I'll give you a short background. I got involved in this 2.5 years ago when Scio Township was hit with that really bad storm. In particular, it knocked over signage on Baker at 94. And Chief Hood had contacted me and said, can you send out the word that we've got potable water at the fire station? And then I found out that that Dexter had called in DTE and was handing out ice. This was during the summer. And so a couple months later, I got with Chief Hood and Jessica and Jillian and said, how can we start a program? My idea is to have a phone tree that we divide the township into quadrants. We have volunteers to have a neighborhood or an area underneath Chief Hood to make sure the word goes out. Well, time passed, and we were dealing with the new fire station. So after Christmas, I had an appointment with Chief Hood. We sat down. It was 10 minutes long. He said, the bad news is there's nobody teaching CERT training, and we would have to take this CERT training in order to get funding and in order to make it run appropriately. But unfortunately, Chief went through the website and he said, it's an endless loop. They tell you all these great things, but they don't tell you how to get certified. So he said that in the course of talking with state representatives about grants for the new fire station and equipment, he would ask them to help him fast track getting certified to teach the CERT training himself. And when that happens, then a couple of us, I've got resident Marcia, I'm blanking on Marcia's last name. Marcia's going to be kind of my co-chair on this. And the idea is to try to get volunteers and have Chief divide the township into quadrants, and we would get people to do this CERT training through Chief Hood. And that's about the basics, other than if we're lucky, it'll only take a year for him to get the certification and the training to teach us. Any questions?
Yeah, I missed it, Pam. The teaching what?
Well, so it's basic skills that are important to know in a disaster when emergency services are not available. With training and practice and a working as a team, you will be able to protect yourself and maximize your capacity to help for the greatest number of people in a disaster. So we would be getting CPR training, but that's not our purpose. That's not what we would be tasked with. But in order to get the rest of the training, we would need to go through that. And our task would be to be essentially a phone tree to get as many residents in Scio Township with the things that they need. In the wintertime, especially with the new fire station, there would be a place to go and get warm. The thing that really frustrated me with this last thing 2.5 years ago is that Dexter was able to call DTE, and DTE sent to Dexter trucks with ice and ice cream and packets of a goodie bag that had a flashlight in it and something else. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Why didn't Scio Township get one of those? So it's doing some little things that help make sure that, well, in fact, like people who are disabled, it's like, who are disabled? Who do we need to make sure that we go and check on them in our quadrant. So it is, it is some of that, and it is what we will learn in the CERT training, and hopefully there's a template there that will help us to be able to do this and not reinvent the wheel. Did that answer your question, Tim?
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Pam.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it works the other way too, is when there's a disaster, a lot of times the folks that are trying to coordinate things don't know exactly what's happening on the ground. So these folks, are the eyes basically, over a large geographic area of what is the situation and et cetera, et cetera. So it helps the
Yeah. And the frustrating thing in that storm is that the fire station had no internet, and it was very frustrating. So Jan, maybe I actually the cable came through my yard, but I guess John, are you in the other room? What did the fire station get that's in our yard?
Fiber optic.
Thank you,
Fiber
Rob. Fiber optic.
My yard.
So, and so I think was to help them not be without internet. So some things are being done to help mitigate problems that have come up before. But one was very simple, is that Chief said they had potable water, but they were using the regular hose. And in order to have potable water, you actually have to use a white RV hose because of the contaminants in the hose, in regular garden hoses. So yeah, there's a lot to learn, a lot to do, and lots of volunteers needed.
Yeah, that'll be great to get. It'll probably take 2 years to get it
I'm
together,
afraid so, but
but worth it.
the idea's on the table.
Mhm.
So thank you.
Great. All right, Janine.
Can't hear you, Janine.
Yep, no, I recognize that. I don't know if anybody knows how to, or if you all can access this link in the chat. So I have a very brief update. I was happy to meet Molly. Jan, thanks for connecting us. Molly's planning to participate in the task force. She's got a public health background. She's very eager to get started. And after she and I met, she was sick while traveling. So what I have done is reviewed some materials, Jan, that you sent my way, which has to do with what is the intersectionality between our climate and sustainability plan and public health planning that might be happening. I don't know if we do public health planning at the township level. I think we probably do it at the county level. So I've looked at materials. I actually think our plan in and of itself has a lot of health related connections and action items already in it. So part of what Molly was going to do, since she hasn't seen our plan, is go through it after looking at some of these materials and just sort of say, yeah, this is where we're strong. Here's a couple of areas where we might be weak. We could make some connections. There's some good local government planning guides. But again, I just don't know how far we want to take this as a task force focused on sustainability when a lot of this is also public health related. And, I think we want to know what the county is up to. And the city of Ann Arbor has embedded in their climate action plan a lot of health and equity related factors and action items. Again, I think our plan does that to some extent. So you can see the proposed action items. I think Molly and I were going to split those up, and happy to report back at a later time when she can actually be well and join this.
Yeah. Do you need, because I think it would be good to kind of connect in with the county. And I am going to have another conversation with Beth Gibbons too, and I can ask her, from in their climate plan, they have some health things
Yeah.
too, and how, how could we, if you two are working on the health part, how we can dovetail with them and the county health department, because you're right, a lot of that really happens at the county level, but you know, don't know
Well,
exactly what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. I know Beth and I have a
Mhm. Oh,
few
good.
reasons to connect with her as well. So I'm
Oh,
glad
good.
if you're gonna bring it up with her, and I'm happy to also do that. Because I
Okay.
think the other health aspect of all this, which is more of health and well-being, is mental health. And part of what I was chatting with Beth about was just how do we think about from a resilience building perspective, making sure people also have resources, access to resources around climate anxiety and grief and just other things that are real and are, you know, especially given the current political climate, are going to become more challenging for at least some part of our community. So that's a piece that Beth and I are starting to chat about.
Neat. Well, if you have that connection, just go for it. That's great. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. And let me go back. Okay. So, we want to go ahead and review our submission again for the Michigan Green Communities Challenge. And this is just this gives us some resources. I think I've been forwarding you once you at least maintain a silver level, you're in the Catalyst Leadership Circle, and that provides us with the information, access to a networking group. And I think Kathy, you joined the last one. And most of them are the larger cities, or just cities, and they have staff. So we're one of the townships that have volunteers that attend these things, which is kind of, I think, good, because that way we can also encourage some other smaller communities to be involved too. And then this summer we'll have that a fellow for 10 weeks working on a curriculum for staff and elected officials that I'm the public will be able to take too, and some sort of module so everybody has kind of a foundation of both the sustainability, but also all the functions that happen within a township and how to integrate those, because we certainly don't have funding for a full-time sustainability director. So it lies on, everyone's shoulders to understand what the goals are and how to integrate it with what you're doing. And so I don't know, I think it was last time it was Kathy, Janine, and me that did it. If you guys are willing to do it again, if there's anyone else that wants to join us, it's a pretty simple. Yeah. Bob, is that a volunteer?
No, I was just going to say, I think they did a great job the last time. You guys all did. Sorry
Yeah,
about
I'm
that.
happy to help, and honestly, Molly might be interested in that too. So
Okay.
you might want to check in with her on that.
Checker. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically what we did last year was kind of, we went through it and then kind of as a group reviewed it. And if there were any things that, it's a pretty simple, it's done, it's in progress, you haven't started kind of piece. And if there were some things that we weren't sure of, we kind of brought those up to the group to get sort of a consensus. So, and that seemed to work okay. All right.
That's fine.
All right. And then we do have a date now. October 5th, Sunday, October 5th will be the sustainability fair. I will do the legal stuff with Meyer. I forget the Michigan Association of the EV guys, as I call them. They I think in our discussion and evaluation, we wanted to push it further in toward the afternoon because we felt like we got more people in the afternoon. The EV folks, they tend to get more participation from their drivers in the morning. So I think what I was suggesting, maybe we push it an hour and do set up at 11 and do the fair, and then maybe they can push their folks an hour, and there's still a pretty healthy overlap, because I think the EVs are an attraction for folks too.
Yeah.
Can I ask another sort of related question about this? An acquaintance of mine from SunCog, who's a city council member in Milan, has been trying to push their city council to developing the sustainability plan. And he has managed to get set up kind of a sustainability fair in Milan. And he called me and asked if a couple of people from our group could come out with our plan and have a booth at his fair, which is going to be around Earth Day, late April. So just wondering, do we feel, I'm wondering about the fact that we don't have a plan approved by our township board. Do we take it as is and say our planning commission approved it, or is that?
That's basically where we're at. That's what happened to the master plan too. It was just approved by the planning commission. Yeah.
Would we be good at going out there? And Sunday, it's a Sunday afternoon. It's similar hours to what ours is going to be, I think, April 27th. And I'm just wondering if we can get just one booth, just get a couple of people and have copies of our plan perhaps, and maybe some information about some things we're working on, just to give them an idea.
Yeah.
I think he's hoping to get people inspired that other people in the county are doing things like that.
Oh, that's neat. Has he contacted the county? Because I bet Beth's crew would.
I'm gonna
participate
guess.
too.
I'm gonna guess that he probably has, but I would ask him that when I call him. And
Okay, will you connect me with him too? Because from a county standpoint, the 2030 district wants to talk to somebody who's interested in sustainability. So
that would be wonderful. Yeah,
yeah,
sure. They are in the weird. I didn't know this about Milan before I met this guy. They are in two counties, so they're both
interesting.
Washtenaw and Lenawee. I'm not sure, but they're right on the line. He says there's a little more in Washtenaw, but they actually are within both jurisdictions. So,
Interesting.
anyway, so
Okay.
I will let him know. Yes, we would be interested in doing that. And closer to the time, I'll see who I can get to join me out there, maybe.
Yeah, and I might be able to get do a 2030 thing too, and that way we can share and have more resources.
Yeah, I'm wondering about also Ben at Ann Arbor Township, because I know that they, the fellow that came to ours that was the head of the sustainability thing in Ann Arbor Township. So okay. Okie doke.
And maybe we can get some, and also we can share the list of county folks that we try and get to come to our sustainability fair, and maybe that would be helpful for them. Yeah,
that sounds good.
Yeah. So the idea is, now that we have a date, we'll draft up an email and start contacting the folks who have come in the past, so they can get it on their calendars earlier. And get the key folks signed up, and then get some other folks. And I did hear that I have to find out how much it is, but the tent rental place now has larger tents, so that might be
and ones you can secure better.
with more poles and more weights, right?
Right.
That was a little scary. Okay. Talk about anxiety. All right.
Who was it that we wanted to contact that needed more advance notice to get it on their calendar?
I think it was the Washoe County Conservation District.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And I know they're probably not feeling really good right now because they have a lot of they
Federal
depend on some
funding.
federal funding. Okay. And then also think about, I have to find out what the parameters are from Meyer, but I know if we coordinate earlier, like the fire, they'll bring a fire truck. Maybe if Meyer would let us do a food truck or something like that. So there'd be some other things that would also attract people to come take a look at the tent. And maybe we can get with Common Cycle too, maybe we can actually have a workshop going, which would be, I think, really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Mhm. With a little more, notice than
Right.
we gave them last time, although it took them a while to respond to you. Okay. Any other comments from our public?
Not me.
Excellent meeting as usual.
Thanks. All right, any revisions or additions to the minutes? Again, thank you, Kathy.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second that.
Support from Tim. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. And we just have the at our next meeting, we'll have to think through what we want to do for March. The newsletter, the articles are due on the 10th. And I don't know, it's sort of, looking at, it's going to come out in the spring. And I don't know, Tim, if this is a good time to see, I know they push back a little bit if we promote certain businesses, but I'm trying to think if there's something that we could do that's a good time to get people thinking about native planting, CSAs, that type of thing.
Mhm.
If we can come up with a new focus
Newsletter, yeah,
on some of that stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of it? Is it still Mary?
Yeah,
Gillis?
Mary's still doing it. Yes. Yeah.
So would she be able to say, yeah, it would be appropriate to give everybody just, I mean, all the CSA farms?
I'll ask her about that. Yeah, if it wasn't promoting one, but saying, look at this is as a group promoting. Yeah.
Because don't they have them?
Or
Go ahead, Kathy.
Someone told me that they heard that White Lotus Farms is opening a shop or something on Zeeb. Is that true?
you mean a full-time retail shop
Yeah,
other than their Sunday
yeah.
things?
Somebody told me that it's
I
that.
don't- I'll look into that.
Oh, because that'd be cool. Although we yeah.
Like was it DeBella's that used to be on Zeeb on that little, where there's those condos in that little strip with West Side consignment and everything.
Oh,
Supposedly going to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, they own
really?
a big chunk of property in there. But I'll look into that, and that makes me think that we could ask Mary Gillis for a little section on, the local farms that grow food for people. And, they deserve our support, and here's how to contact them.
And maybe a map.
Yeah, maybe. Right.
Maybe a map. We'll work on that.
I was going to say, that was going to be my question. I thought we had a map of those farms.
We do.
Okay.
We do. I can pinpoint every one of them.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, because then people can say, oh, well, it's right by me.
Okay, right. And so just say again, when is the newsletter due?
March
Newsletter-
10th.
Okay. That's our input.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it comes out on April 7th, which is really a good time. And I'm gonna, and I have to warn her that we're gonna have, some stuff on the SEMCOG, but I think that's gonna go mostly, it's gonna be mostly a QR code and link to the website where people can provide feedback on the Jackson Road work. And I see we are past even 8:30 tonight, so.
I was gonna sign off, Jan. I so
Yep.
appreciate your leadership.
We all
And
do.
yeah,
No,
this is
I
a-
appreciate you guys.
this is a good
It's great
group.
team.
Thank
Are
you all.
moving
Wanted to-
that we adjourn?
Mhm. Yes, I think we have the consensus to adjourn. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jan.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Okay,
buddy.
Bye.
welcome, Michelle.
And
Take care.
Jan,
Yes.
I just wanted to say, since I was just privy to listening, since I have nothing but education to myself, I have to catch up here. I've been wintering in the South over a decade or more. So this is the first time I'm here in winter. And all I'm saying is now I'll be around much more. So I'm happy if you find a place for me or something that can be done. I think I told you I was a retired public school teacher. I did my 35 years and taught K through 6. But it's been a long time now. I've been retired since 2011. Yay. But anyway, so if there's something you want me to do or bring me up to speed or whatnot, I'd be happy to meet with you or whomever and do whatever. And I know that's
It's
really
great.
vague.
Yeah. So we can, I have to get our sort of the organizational act together on the sustainability fair, but that would be, doing some outreach and so forth would be great to make
Yeah.
sure, we get it on people's calendars. So,
For
yeah.
sure.
Okay,
And-
cool.
So thank you. I appreciate all that you guys are doing and it's been a good education. I read the newsletter and, pay attention and often Zoom the meetings when I can, not yours, sorry, but the township. But nonetheless,
Great.
I'm glad there's a new game in town. But anyway,
Thank
Thanks,
you and
Michelle.
thank you
welcome.
for all that you guys do. I appreciate it
Thanks for
Good
joining
education.
us.
for me.
Yeah,
I appreciate
bye-bye.
your okie dokie. Bye-bye now.
It's nice.